Hey, good evening, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Live with me, Mike Avery. And as you can see, I am here in my home office, my home studio. There is daylight coming through the office window, and it's going to be another hour before it gets dark. Isn't that nice? Larry, how are you? You made a comment before I even hit the air. How cool is that? My buddy Craig Plowman, Otto, always a pleasure. Mike Richfield, a beautiful day indeed. I could be at the ball fields right now watching my granddaughter Addison play her final year of high school ball, but that's okay because she will be playing college ball next year, and I'll get to watch her then too. Paul, good evening. How are you? Appreciate you joining me on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. My name is Mike Avery. I do a radio show in Michigan, a syndicated radio show that's on more than 30 stations across the state. I also do a podcast version of that show, and I do a podcast for Offshore Tackle, Angler Quest Pontoons, and Killer Food Plots as well. And I'm toying with the idea of expanding the whole podcasting concept into doing some kind of a video concept. We'll see how that goes. What do you mean, John? Thank you for the 1,000. Not sure what's that mean. Did I send you $1,000 and not know it? John says, "Hi, Mike. Thank you for the 1,000." Ruben, good afternoon, buddy. How are things in the beautiful state of Colorado? I think I told you this before. My goal when I got out of Ferris was to move to Colorado and actually work for Coors. Bernie, good evening. How are you? Spent the afternoon on a golf course. I am so jealous, so jealous. I have not played golf yet. I think we might be playing on Friday. I don't have the Angler Quest yet, so I'm going to take advantage of the nice weather before I get the Angler Quest and try to spend some time on the golf course. In fact, as much time as I possibly can. Getting ready for the second annual Mike Avery Outdoors charity golf outing, Friday, July 25th. More on that later. Mike, good evening. Brian, how are you, buddy? You snuck in this morning, too, and I didn't get a chance to say hi. So, hi. Craig, hi, right back at you. Craig Plowman, I like your AQ podcast, and video would be an improvement. We will not be doing video, Craig, on any of those three that I can think of. I don't see that happening, although I wouldn't rule it out. But what I'm thinking is to add another video podcast to the lineup of what I'm doing. 1,100. Okay, John, that makes more sense. I did check my email. Your first one said the 1,000. That's what screwed me up. Hey, Roger, how are you? My mushroom picking, I have not looked for one other than casually looking half-assedly. Well, last time I was turkey hunting, and I haven't been turkey hunting in over a week because my grandson Trent is out of town. I'm turkey hunting with him this spring. The goal is to get Trent a bird. I just talked to Corey Phillips, and he said we can hunt behind his place. My buddy Scott says he's got birds coming back in there. So I am optimistic that we will be able to get Trent a turkey this spring. Ray, good evening. How are you? Craig, I got you, Craig. Now I see what you're talking about. Similar concept or format. When I first started podcasting, this whole concept of a video podcast did not exist. Really wasn't on my radar screen. These days, it's, I think, more common to do a video podcast than it is an audio. I have a hard time calling a video podcast a podcast. To me, it's a video or it's a YouTube or something, but I'm splitting hairs here. Anyway, the gist of it is I'm thinking about expanding into some kind of a separate new video podcast. Good evening, Jim. How are you? Always a pleasure to have you along with us. It was nice to see you at Wednesday Night Live a couple of weeks ago. So, hey, Linda, is the boat in the water yet? Nope. The boat is being made right now. I talked to Mr. Angler Quest Brad Dupuy today. The tubes are made. They're starting to put the rest of the boat together. It should be a couple of weeks yet, but as I was saying in the meantime, while I am waiting, we'll see if we can't get my grandson Trent a turkey, and I'm going to try to spend some time on the golf course. Thank you, Roger. I appreciate that very much. Hello, Cliff. Good evening, Cliff. You're late tonight. You're 5 minutes late. What's going on? Craig says he's headed for our skinny water on Saturday. Fingers crossed. Craig, When you say our skinny water, what do you mean by that? Our skinny water. Because as you've heard me say before, I do keep track of who's in there. I have electronic sensors out there. And unless you have requested access, it's really not our skinny water. So let's see what you mean by that. And you know I'm just joking. Good luck to you. Hello, Terry. How are you? Hello, John. How are things in St. Louis? Bernie, a couple of friends loaded up on mushrooms. Of course, the GPS coordinates are not available. Of course not. Jim says he just finished the boat lift cover. Jim, good evening. How are you, buddy? Jerry, good evening right back at you. Eric, nice to have you along with us. Hello, Bill. Bill Lincoln, the guy who is responsible for the original concept of a Mike Avery Outdoors charity golf outing. Cliff says, oh, dinner was at the door. Mickey, good evening. How are you? Mad Jack, always a pleasure. Captain, how are you doing this evening? Captain Jim. Speaking of charity things, and I brought this up this morning, let me ask you what you think of it. Recently, I've been carrying two Rapid River knives. I've been carrying my Youper and my mini Youper. And the concept came up this morning of what if I partner with Chris Durson of Rapid River and we make a limited edition Mike Avery Outdoors signature knife, and part of the proceeds of that would go to an outdoor related charity or a veterans charity, ideally a veterans charity involved in getting veterans in the outdoors. Would you be interested in buying a limited edition Mike Avery Outdoors knife from Rapid River? There currently is not one available, but it's something that Chris Durson and I have been talking about, and I think I'm getting ready to pull the trigger on it. Brent, good evening, buddy. How are you? Did not make it out for the trout opener. Glad to hear that you did well. Craig says, going to start in about 10 feet, then search for them there. I will say hi to your sensors. Nope, can't take a call right now. Jim, good morning. Linda said she would certainly buy a Mike A. Youper. Especially if, now I'm not asking Chris Durson to take all of his profits out of selling such a knife. I'm not. I would not make a dime on it. But I wonder if we couldn't get something done. And I'm not saying we're going to make $20 a knife, but if we could make a few bucks a knife and give that to a good charity, it would be along the line of the Mike Avery Outdoors charity golf outing to raise money for MUCC's youth camp. Patrick, good evening. Larry said he'd be interested. Roger said he'd be interested. All right. Every comment I've gotten so far has been positive. Of course, if you have a negative reaction to this, you're not going to let me know. And I get that. Okay. So a couple things I want to talk about before we move into the heart of our conversation tonight. The days are really, really getting longer. And boy, I can tell you, I can't wait for this change in the weather pattern coming up here over the weekend and next week, because these northeast winds have become brutal. The cold, strong northeast winds are absolutely driving people crazy. Ask Brad how he gets his deer these days. I have no idea what that means. Mickey, Jim says he likes it. Otto says yes. Good evening, Mike. How are you? David, always a pleasure. Dave, nice to have you along with us on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. The geese in the pond behind the house, the goslings are hatching. They're really cute little fuzzy things as long as they stay in the pond. They come up into my yard, start making a mess, then we're going to have a problem. Eric says a new knife in my pocket would be nice. Randy, 10-year-old grandson got a nice turkey. Send me the picture, Randy. Send me an email with that picture to Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. That's Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. And I will share that picture as I have a couple of new ones today. And by the way, any picture of a kid in the outdoors will get the hashtag Forward Fuels Tradition. That's Forward Fuels Tradition. You don't have to hashtag it. I will. And it will be entered in our monthly contest for a $50 gift card from the Forward Corporation convenience stores. In fact, here's one right here. Um, it could have your name on the back of it. Speaking of gift cards, oh, gotcha. Speaking of gift cards, we'll see if Emil Rousseau of the West Branch Visitors Bureau comes on here tonight. We got something in the works there as well. I got you, Mickey. You have both hit deer. Angie, hello, Gus. Hello, Angie. How are you this evening? You know what I was thinking, Gus, the other day? I was thinking, doggone it, I forgot all about that fundraiser at Pizza Sam's in Midland a Wednesday 2 or 3 weeks ago. I apologize, Gus. I just forgot all about it. Bob, good salmon and trout fishing in the Thumb Ports. Best salmon fishing seen in 25 years. That is impressive. There's a story right there. There's a radio conversation right there. If the salmon fishing is that good in the Thumb, I need to talk about it. I need to get somebody to talk about it who's been out there. Bruce, good evening. How are you? Appreciate you joining me on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Also on the pond behind the house, and I can't call it my pond because it's a community pond, although we're centered right square in the middle of it. I think we get the most benefit from it. There was an osprey on the pond fishing a couple of days ago. When I first saw it, I thought, well, there's an eagle because we routinely see eagles here, which is very cool. It was a big bird. It didn't fly like a goose, which I see so many of out there. And it was, it had a white head, but it didn't have a white tail. So I'm looking at it. And then the thing that really got my attention is it hovered. It quit flying and it hovered. I'd never seen that before. So I looked it up and it was indeed an osprey. And then it dove into the pond to pick up a fish. I thought that was so cool. I had never seen an osprey before. And now we've got him feeding on the pond behind the house. Although Tim Bin says you won't be happy very long because once the ospreys discover your pond and the fish back there, they will wipe it out. Mad Jack said it was a blast on Bob K's boat last weekend. Would that be Bob Keatsman, Mad Jack? John says you need get my bear and elk thing in. I have not applied for a Michigan bear or elk tag yet. I will. I would encourage you, my friends, to make sure you do indeed apply for a Michigan bear and elk tag. I'm telling you right now, you're not going to get an elk tag. If you go into it with that frame of mind, because 50,000 people who apply roughly will not get an elk tag, 200 will. So the odds are definitely against you. You're not going to get an elk tag. Now, you might get a bear tag, depending on how you apply and for what season and what area. So if you go into the elk drawing thinking of it as a $5 donation to the state of Michigan, then you won't be disappointed when you don't get a tag. If you do, God forbid, a miracle happens and God reaches down from heaven and taps you on the shoulder and you get an elk tag, then it's just a bonus. I will continue to apply. This year I will apply for a bull-only tag, but I will also enter the pure Michigan hunt, and I think my odds are better at getting an elk tag there. No, check that. No, I'm going to apply for a bull and the pure Michigan hunt as well, and I'm only going to put in for a point this year for bear hunting because I think I'm going to go to White River, Ontario, Canada, and hunt with Ron St. Louis of Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters. So I have not been turkey hunting for the last week because Trent's been out of town. We're going to be out this weekend, not Saturday. I'm tied up Saturday. Sunday morning in church, so I think maybe Sunday afternoon, Trent and I will get out and see if we can't get him a bird. Tim Binns, not wildlife, but saw my first herd of bison on the way to St. Helens today. Very cool. There used to be, when I was in Big Rapids, there was a farm there. No, this is Traverse City. No, Big Rapids used to have a farm too. And then Traverse City, quite recently, had an operation southwest of town that raised bison too. How cool is that? Very cool. What else? I'm going to talk about this weekend's Outdoor Magazine radio show rundown here shortly because I think it's a very, very interesting rundown, as all of them are. Honestly, why would I put together a show rundown that I felt wasn't interesting? Why would I put people on the air that I didn't think were interesting? But to be honest with you, some shows are better than others. Just like everything we do in life, right? the things we do on a regular basis, some of them are going to be very, very good, and some of them are going to be not as good. Thank you, Tony Olson's. Thank you, Otto Olson's. Is it still there yet? Tony says, anybody hit the skinny water yet? Somebody was getting ready to hit the skinny water. It was Roger. Roger was getting ready to hit the skinny water. No, Craig is getting ready to hit the skinny water. It's been doing pretty well, but Tony, as I told Craig, and I'll tell Randy Iamuri if he's on here tonight or anybody else, don't get too comfortable in the skinny water. I have paid the state of Michigan for special fishing rights in that skinny water. As a result, access there is limited. I am able to I am able to monitor who is in there fishing because we've set out a series of electronic buoys, and they're very, very small. You're not even going to see them. But they record everybody who's in the skinny water, including boat description and MC numbers with pictures and video. If you have not purchased the Skinny Water Access Pass, and you can get that at MikeAveryOutdoors.com, if you have not purchased the Skinny Water Access Pass, you will, the first time in there, you will get a letter or an email, and the second time, you will actually, your boat will be confiscated along with any fish that you took in that skinny water. So just keep it in mind. Just keep it in mind. Larry, I bought a hunt fish combo, didn't get a fishing license. Scared to fish. Larry, why? Jim says it's just been hard with the wind. That northeast wind has been terrible. Did it online. You paid the state for fishing rights? Sounds like you made a charitable contribution. I will deduct it from my taxes, Linda. Absolutely. Tony, my good friend Tony Wynn says as soon as the wind changes, he'll be in there. He'll be in there. Tony is allowed. Tony is allowed. There are 3 people who are legally allowed to be in there. I am one of them. Tony Wint is the other, and contractually and legally, I'm not allowed to say who the third person is. But Tony is allowed in the skinny water. Yep. Otto says, not as big as it was. NMC benefits from Olson. Barbecue. Hey, Michelle. Craig and I should be going with the Bear Whisperer, Johnny Bowler, for the first hunt this year, have 15 points. You should be a lock. Michelle, you should be a lock. And you will have so much fun. Your husband, Craig, says 10 grand for a bear hunt and now paying to fish. I didn't pay the 10,000 to Johnny Bowler, Craig. You and Michelle will be charged 10,000 to hunt with Johnny. I paid him $500. But I also promoted him on the radio show. And since Craig and Michelle, you have no radio show, you will be expected to pay the $10,000 to hunt with Johnny Bowler. And if you want, you will be allowed to buy a pass to get access into the skinny water, as Craig says he did. He's not the third person. So, Craig, I'm going to have to run, I have a database here, and I'm going to be able to get your MC numbers and your boat description. I'm going to have to run it and keep a close eye on you because I can tell you're one of those guys who has not been officially granted access into the beloved and holy skinny water. Tony, I have been in skinny water with my late father before you all even fished there. I doubt it. I doubt it. No disrespect intended, Tony, but I doubt it. I do miss fishing with him. Yeah, God bless you for that. I hear that. Craig says, I have friends in high places. Martin, good evening. How are you? Thanks for joining me, Martin, on this edition of Wednesday Night Live, where I am slewing a very, very deep line of crap right now. And some people might not even pick up on it. Thank you, Otto, Northwest Michigan College. I was trying to figure that out. John said he would give Johnny $500 to hunt bear, but it won't cost you $500, Johnny. It's John. It's $10,000. Johnny Bowler charges $10,000 for his Michigan bear hunts. At least that's what I'm telling people it is. Now, if you talk to Johnny directly, and it's something less, good for you. I would probably negotiate. Jen said, I would hope fellow captains controlling the skinny water. Now we're getting into a dicey situation here, Jim, because not all charter captains are allowed in that skinny water. You, because you spent a career in law enforcement, I'm willing to talk because you have paid your dues downstate as a cop. So I would think we can work something out. Michelle said, I think you forgot I'm a Youper. And that's kind of like being Johnny Bowler's sister. Michelle, if you and Johnny can work out a price, I would say go for it. But just the standard price across the board, Johnny is charging $10,000 per hunter. Mike, good evening. How are you? Hey, Ken. Checking in from Western Kentucky. How are you? Craig says, is there a discount code for Johnny Bowler? Yes, there is. And thank you for bringing that up. The discount code to hunt bears with Johnny Bowler is Avery10K. Avery10K. If you get in touch with Johnny Bowler and you use the promo code Avery10K, he will charge $10,000 for his Michigan bear hunt. Again, that's Avery10K. James, good evening. How are you? Roger, nice to have you along with us. Jim says he ordered another 300 lure blanks. They were on sale. He couldn't resist it. Good evening, Dean. How are you? Okay, a couple of other things. No, I'm going to get right into the show rundown because it'll lead me into some other topics. By the way, the Outdoor Mag. There we go. I do this, and Facebook likes it. By the way, the Outdoor Magazine radio show is heard on broadcast stations in Michigan. More than 30 of them. There's a podcast version of the show as well. Roger said, we have seen some buoys out, thought they were nets when we're in skinny water. Those are not my buoys, Roger, and those are nets. So stay away from them because I actually trolled into them one time and got, surprisingly, wasn't that bad. I was able to get out of there. Getting deep tonight, is it? Craig says, hey, I was a cop. I was in law enforcement. I should get the skinny water pass. Let's talk, Craig. Let's talk. Getting deep in here? It is getting deep in here tonight, and I'm having fun with it. My first guest on the Outdoor Magazine radio show this week, and this is somewhat of a, I don't want to say a self-serving conversation, but it is a very personal conversation. And it's with Dr. Brian Falda, who is a neurologist from My Michigan Hospital, formerly Midland Hospital in Midland. He is their head neurologist there. And May is Stroke Awareness Month. Now, I had a pretty bad stroke on October 28th of last year. I survived it. I have no bad effects at all. I'm not going to say it's a miracle, but I was damned lucky. I was lucky because my wife, Denise, called the cavalry in right away. She called 911. The folks in ER got the clot-busting drug in me right away. The neurology and cardio people at Mid-Michigan were wonderful, and your prayers and God's grace is what got me through that event. But I talked with Dr. Falda about stroke, how to know the signs of a stroke, what to do, how to try to prevent a stroke. And I'll be darned if one of the things the doc didn't say, because I asked him outright. I said, why can't I smoke cigars anymore? Because I don't inhale them. I was very badly addicted to cigars. I will admit it. Not physically, but mentally. They calmed me down. They relaxed me, and I miss them terribly. To this day, I have 2 cigars in a portable travel humidor under the seat of my truck. I haven't touched one since October 26th. I want to so bad. I can't stand it. I saw a video the other day of a guy lighting up a cigar, and I was jonesing so bad. The doc says, don't do it, even though you don't inhale it. And he gave the reasons why, plus many other things. So interesting conversation with Dr. Brian Falda. Then Carrie Heckman from the DNR talks about the DNR response to the ice storm devastation in the northern lower, what's open, what's closed, what their plans are. In the second hour, we talk with Greg McClinchy. He is with the Great Lakes Fish Fishery Commission. It is the group responsible for overseeing coordination of the sea lamprey control program. Uh, that program is back. The funding for the program was never cut, but the funding for the personnel working the program was cut. That's been reinstated. We talk about that, how the program works. In the second part of the second hour, Justin Tomei of MUCC joins me, and we talk about the legislation, the proposals to fund the DNR, and how that could possibly affect the cost of our Michigan hunting and fishing licenses. Now, the DNR floated a trial balloon at the end of last year, so that's one scenario. The governor, the governorette, the governoress, you know that lady with the red lipsticks and the one who always wears the leather jacket, you know, the one who tried to shut us down during COVID, and then her husband wanted to take the family boat out. You know who I'm talking about, right? Yeah, okay, yeah. Much respect there. Not. I get off track. So she had a plan. I talked last week on the radio show with Ed. I can't remember Ed's last name. Blissick from the Great Lakes Salmon Initiative. They have a proposal that they're going to put before the legislature that addresses just the fishery side of things, and that's the one that would include the proposal to allow Great Lakes trolling anglers to run more rods. And now Bumstead and Cherry, are they senators or reps? I think they're, I don't know. I don't pretend to follow it that close. I know they're politicians in Lansing, and you know, not bad guys at all. They've come up with a plan to revamp things. Anyway, the gist of the conversation is I talked with Justin about what the different options are, how much this could cost us, and when it's going to go into effect. So before you start getting real worried, keep in mind the license fees cannot go up for this year. They're set in stone. We're already paying them. They can't increase them. Honestly, unless something happens really, really fast and goes through very, very easily, don't expect a license fee increase in 2026. It could come in 2027. And then in our third hour, we're talking with Al Stewart. You remember Year of the Cat and Time Traveler? What you might not know is not that Al Stewart. Al Stewart, the newest inductee into the Michigan Outdoor Hall of Fame and retired DNR wildlife biologist. I talked with him about turkey hunting during the mosquito season and why that can be so effective. And of course, we wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire, Dixie Dave Miner. So let me go back to some of the comments here. Tony says, are you east side or west side? I'm east side, Tony. Kevin, Golf League started today. Outstanding, Kevin. I look forward to seeing you and everyone at the West Branch Country Club for our second annual Mike Avery Outdoors charity golf outing to benefit MUCC's youth camp. If you would like to get involved, go to the website mucc.org/golf. That's mucc.org/golf. There it is right there. Can I pull it up here? Nope, I can't pull it up. mucc.org/golf. And until the new Angler Quest comes in, I am going to be hitting the golf course probably Friday. Bow hunting birds. Paul, your video was so cool. In fact, I forgot to ask you if I could actually share that video of your grandson missing that bird. Very cool video. Very cool video. Mark says prayers and God's grace does indeed work miracles. So, Mark, you are saying that I could call it a miracle? I mean, it's not like water was turned into wine or we fed 5,000 people or anything like that. But I did survive a stroke with no negative impacts at all. The question I sometimes have is, and those of you who have been through fairly severe medical situations, there's almost this feeling of like, why? Why did I make it through and so many other people didn't or are not in as good a shape as I am? because God wasn't ready for me yet. I think there are things that He wants me to do while I'm still here. YouTuber DMFD Rob Arrington just had another stroke, two strokes, two types 2 years ago. Deer meat for dinner, outdoorsman YouTuber. I can't talk ATM, but I think he's fine. Strokes are real. They sure as hell are real. Tony, she did cut us down during COVID. Yes, she did. Judy, I am sure you have the same thought we have after a stroke. We always think how blessed we are and how different our lives could have been. God is good. Indeed. Amen, sister. Bill Clinton didn't inhale either. Ross Elliott, my good friend, and one of the most loyal, generous, sweetest guys you'll ever meet. Now, if you met Ross, you might not look at him and go, he's a sweet guy. Because he looks like a biker, because he is a biker. But you get to know that guy, and he is, well, like Mark Halston. He's a sweetie. He's a sweetheart. James, doesn't matter that you're late, you're here. Tommy, just got in from the evening turkey hunt. How did it go? Tony says, stay out of my square mile, dang it. Hey. Tony, I've been fishing that water, that skinny water, for 30 years. That's just a guess. Kimmy, my sister-in-law, Kimmy, how are you? It was nice to see you and Tim earlier in the week. It's nice that everything worked out so well. Paul says, feel free. I will do that, Paul. I just need to write myself a note. Tim says, so, what is it what you said about a Mike Avery video podcast? It's something that I'm kicking around, Tim. With the popularity of video podcasting these days, I would like to, it's just a matter of how ambitious I am, right? If I was 10, 15 years younger, I'd have done this already. And I'm not saying I'm getting lazy, but I'm saying I don't want to work as hard maybe as I used to. But this has kind of been put on my head that I think it's something I should do, a video podcast separate from the radio show. I'm just trying to work through the logistics of how we would do it. But yeah, I'm thinking seriously about it, like a Mike Avery Outdoors Inside or something. Inside Mike Avery Outdoors? No, that one's gross. We don't want that one. Up This Way We Can Play. I'd love that, Kevin. Elmer Petoskey. I look forward to your conversation with the doctor. I'm trying to get away from my Black and Mild cigars. They do exactly what they did for you. I was so mentally addicted to cigars, especially, Elmer, on the golf course and in the fishing boat. Those 2 seasons are coming up, and I'm gonna be struggling. Gonna be struggling. To share any of the videos, Paul, thank you. Joe, what are you still doing at the SVRC Marketplace? I thought you guys were done by now. Tommy, by this time of the day. Tommy, slow one gobble off in the distance, one head walked by. Alrighty. Oh, Scott Keatsman of Linwood Taxidermy, linwoodtaxidermy.com. Oh, my sweetheart Ross, what's up, buddy? He's a sweetheart of a guy. Andy Weiss, you talk about another good guy, and I've said this 1,000 times, and I'll say it 1,000 more. I am absolutely blessed to work with top-tier, top-notch partners. Andy Weiss, this guy right here, of Truck Trolley, trucktrolley.com, is one of them. Just a really, really good guy who makes an outstanding product. Check him out online at trucktrolley.com. That's trucktrolley.com. Andy, I know you're a golfer. What are you doing Friday, July 25th? You maybe want to come up and golf the 2nd annual Mike Avery Outdoors charity golf outing to benefit MUCC's youth camp. Tony, I didn't know you were a cigar smoker. Oh, no, you're not a cigar smoker. You've been in there 30 years. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if you and I, Tony, kind of started there about the same time. Another Tony, I need Finn Road launch to open up. Is it because of the low water? Derek, do you have a JR, a junior? Do I have a JR? I don't know what that means. Jim, once I retired the ambition to do unnecessary things, I just dropped off. Tony, started fishing the skinny water with my dad in the late 80s. Remember dragging Hottentots and no weeds. I was in there in the early to mid 80s. In fact, I got a walleye on the wall in the other room there that, if I remember right, is from 1986. And here's the thing. You'd think as long as I've been fishing that bay that I would be better at it. And that's kind of a joke, but not really. I mean, as much experience as I have in that water, I should be an expert, and I'm not. James, I didn't have a stroke, but dang close. Thunderclap had it, got worked over in the hospital. 2 spinal taps, scans, MRI, the works. Turns out I have high blood pressure. Tony says, I'm not saying he's old, but they used to launch out a night road marina. Oh, last one to leave. Tony used to smoke cigars. Excellent. Andy, that would be great. Again, Andy Weiss of trucktrolley.com, trucktrolley.com, a great product. If you have a truck or you know somebody who has a truck, I'll tell you right now, you could benefit from the truck trolley. If you don't have a truck trolley, you know you found yourself doing this, jumping into the bed of your truck to reach for stuff that has worked its way towards the front. Or, like I used to do, I had my old man hook, which was a cut-off broom handle with a hook on the end of it, so I could get up there and reach to the front of the bed and pull it back to me. With a truck trolley, everything stays on your truck trolley, and you just slide it out so you can reach it. It's not permanently attached. It's not bolted in. It's held in there with straps, so you can easily remove it. You can install it in less than 5 minutes. Trucktrolley.com. TJ, good evening. How are you? I'm playing with my wife and my grandson on Friday, Greg. Lori, good evening. How are you? What else? Boy, time is flying tonight. So anyway, I'm pretty excited about that rundown for this week's show. Linda, yes, I have a truck. I have a truck trolley at 5'2". It's a knee saver. Joe says, please come and visit us. I would love to do that sometime. John said, Dad had a stroke. Not good. See, that's just it. There are so many people who have strokes and they never completely recover. You know, some people die from them. Some people have lifelong or at least long time effects. I got hit hard by it. I mean, it hit me hard. But I recovered. Kevin says, I might look at a truck trolley when I get my new tracking dogs. Look at it. Rabbit Homesteading says, Mike, don't read. Okay, I'm not reading it. I'm not reading it. What's in the Yeti? What is in the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation overly priced Yeti? Now, I've told you this before. I don't like Yetis. I think they are overpriced. And I think there are many other products that do exactly as good of a job for about half the cost. However, I won't buy them for myself, but oftentimes people buy them for me or give them to me. This particular Yeti from Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation was given to me by Craig Plowman and his friends at the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. It is my go-to Wednesday night live. In fact, my all-day Wednesday. I start drinking coffee in it Wednesday morning, switch over to Crystal Light later in the day, and in about 20 minutes, I'll switch over to Maker's Mark and Crystal Light. Linda was one of the first people to own a truck trolley. Excellent. Thank goodness for the TPA. That's the clot-busting drug, and it is, in my mind, my opinion, a miracle drug. That's after they put it in me, I definitely got worse before I got better, but it brought me back around. Your successful recovery, all about the immediate intervention. No needs, and that's what my pastor said. I said, Pastor, why do you think I got spared? And the pastor said, one thing, why do you want to know? Why is it important to you? And he said, you may never know. Mark's dad passed away from a stroke. His job on earth was finished. He'll be going strong for years now. Amen. Craig says he has Stanleys, and they're great and much less expensive. Lori says, I can send you a Wild Card Outdoor Adventures cup that's not a Yeti. Thank you, Lori. I have so many different cups. And I don't mind. I don't mind at all using a Yeti. But I won't buy a Yeti. Scott says, just curious, what's the doc say about alcohol? Scott Keatsman, mind your own business. Doesn't matter. Like my grandson Trent used to say when he was a kid, just worry about yourself. He says that a shot of Maker's Mark once a day is good for you. Okay, real quick. The golf outing, mucc.org/golf. Do not look for license fee increases to come this year. Do not look for the bait license from the DNR ever. Some people are saying, "Oh yeah, there was a state rep who's going to make this happen." No, he's not. He can't make it happen. I think it was Timmy Beeson out of Bay County. He started legislation that would allow for $20 or $25, people in the Lower Peninsula to use a limited amount of bait in counties where there is no CWD. That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. And then finally, Mother's Day. This is Mother's Day weekend. I'm so blessed that my mom is still with us. In fact, Kimmy, my sister-in-law, her mother-in-law is still with us. Same lady. So blessed that my mom is still with us. She is a great mother. My wife, Denise, is an outstanding mom and grandma. My daughter, Shelby, is a new mama. This is her first Mother's Day. My daughter, Jessica, is a great mother as well. And my daughter-in-law, Jessica, all great mothers. I have some wonderful mothers in my life, as I suspect you do or did. So on this Mother's Day weekend, please just let them know that you love them. In my opinion, moms are the glue that holds the family together. We as dads and granddads, we have our own role too, but it is not probably in most cases the nurturing, loving, consoling role that moms and grandmas have. So thank goodness, thank the Lord for moms. Some of you think this is funny, huh? Well, good. I'm glad I get a chuckle out of you, Jim. Bald eagles flying over the fields, over the house. I love seeing them too, Kimmy. I love them. I just love seeing eagles. We actually had an osprey, I was saying earlier, on the pond behind the house early in the week. TJ agrees. He said, baiting will never again happen in the Lord. They won't, because the DNR has painted themselves into a corner, and they have put so much emphasis on the fact that CWD is so bad and that baiting helps spread CWD. They can never back away from that now. And I'm not saying whether that's true or not, or whether I buy into it or not, but I'm saying that the DNR has made that their platform, and at this point, they cannot reverse that without losing complete credibility. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate that very much. We will indeed, Kevin, have a Maker's Mark at the outing. Michigan Bear and Elk, yes, during the month of May. Oh, what have I got to do? What have I got to do here? I got to do this.
Oh, my Avery, master of the wild, your stories and laughter keep us beguiled. Every fish that you catch, every heart you embrace brings us closer to nature's grace. In the heart of Michigan's
My name is Mike Avery. This is Wednesday Night Live. The website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. That's MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address is Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Let me know, would you love to see a Mike Avery Outdoors signature Rapid River knife to benefit kids in the outdoors or veterans in the outdoors? I appreciate you joining me, my friends. It's time for me to call it a day work-wise, put my feet up, and have a good night, as you will too. All right, my friends, see you later.